Hi! So in this video today, I'm going to be painting and assembling the alphabet ornaments. So I'm going to go through the materials that I used. I used the True Flat, and this is from Maker Flow. And I used the white for all the white that's in here, and it saved me a lot of time not having to paint all the white. So I have another video where I show how easy it is to clean these. It's super easy. You just cut it and then just wipe it down with a baby wipe, and it's already clean and ready to go. So you don't have to mask or anything. You just wipe it down with a wipe. And then for these ones, I just use MDF for everything else. So I'm going to paint the MDF in this. I have 3 different types of arrangements on these. Some letters come like this, where the florals are on top, and then some are on the left and some are on the right, depending on the way the letters are. I didn't want to cover the letters too much, so each letter is different. So they'll either have this, or this style. So I have all 3 of the styles in this video, so you can see how these assemble depending on which letter you're going to do. So if you have one of the letters that's at the top, or if you chose one of the letters that's on the left or one that's on the right, I'm going to show all 3 so you can see how easy these are to assemble. So I just went ahead and cut out the snowflake with that True Flat. I'm just going to go ahead and take these all apart. I want to make sure that I keep all of the pieces together so I know which one goes with which one. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove all these. You can see how easy this is to assemble. I want to make sure that I don't mix up the florals for each one. So this is this one here. And I'm just going to take this one and just set it off to the side. You can see how nice and clean that wipes up with the wipe. And then I don't need to paint anything with this. It's all done. So that's all I have to do for this one here is just paint these. So I'm just going to set this over here. All right. So there's my letter D. And then I have this letter J. I'm making this one for my tree. Because my initials are J and J, so that's all I have for that. So I could do it for my first name or my last name. So that one's for my tree. I'm just going to take these apart. And you can see how easy these are to assemble. There we go. And I love that I can save so much time with using that white True Flat. It just saves a lot not having to paint all that white. Just going to go ahead and take these all apart. And that's all there is to just assembling them. And I'm going to put this over here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be using these sponges. These are great. They're just like makeup sponges, but you're using them like a pen and you don't get a mess on your hands. So I'm going to go ahead and take these out. These are brand new. These are just from Temu. You can get a huge package of them for very cheap. I think they're supposed to be for stamping, but I'm going to use them for applying paint, and they go on the paint goes on perfectly, and there's no paint strokes or anything. It's just nice and even. And especially if you have paintbrushes where the bristles all fall out and then it makes a mess, these are great, and then it gives a nice even texture. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint the letters with a gray. I thought it would look nice, like a farmhouse style. So I'm just going ahead and just grabbing a little bit of paint here, and I'm just going to go ahead and just dab that right on. And it goes on so nice and evenly. So I'm just going to dab. And it's really nice. I love these. It's just like using a makeup sponge. A lot of people use makeup sponges, but you tend to get it on your hands. And this is like almost using a brush, but it's a makeup sponge on the other end. So if you want to try these, I definitely recommend them. I feel like I'm going to be using these a lot. These are great. So I'm just going to hold this down. And I'm going to just dab, dab, dab. I'm getting started early on my Christmas files this year because I feel like I just didn't have enough time this past year. So I want to make sure I get a good start. I want to get a lot of ornaments done. They're just so much fun to make. So there's my letter A. I'm going to come over here and do the letter D. I think these will look really nice. And I have every letter available, and I'm gonna probably just do like a complete set too for a discount if you want to get all 26 letters. I haven't gotten these listed yet. As soon as I paint these, I'll get a lot of these listed. And I'd love to see what everybody does with these. That'd be fun. There we are. And this is just gray chalk paint, nothing exciting. Just gray chalk paint. What I love about these dabbers, these like little dabbers, you don't get the paint all over the sides, like all over the inside where the edges are, so they don't make a mess. So the only thing is you don't get like that. If you're doing like a very small section, like a very small bit, there's not a lot of control over them. So this is more for big spaces that you're painting. All right, so there's the letter D. And then I'm going to do the J. There we go. And this is really nice. It's just nice and even. There we go. Easy peasy. I feel like it's nice and even. You don't get all those brush strokes either. There we go. And it doesn't matter if you get it on the edges because that layer is going to be covered up. So you only have to just do the letter. That's the only thing that's going to be showing here. There we are. There. Easy peasy. All right. And honestly, I don't know if you really need to do a second coat. I'm just going to add a little bit more just cause, but I feel like using these sponges, you don't have to do a second coat. I feel like it really covers really well. I think it looks really good. All right, so there's my letter D. I feel like this is pretty good too. I'm just going to add a little bit. Here we are. These are definitely recommended. I love these. I just kind of bought them on a whim. I'm like, let's give it a try. And they were cheap enough to try them out. I want to say they were like, I think they were like $8 for like a whole bunch. So why not give it a try? They're just from Temu. I know a lot of people don't like to try Temu, but if you ever want to give it a try, they might have these at your craft stores too. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to grab some green paint and I'm going to just dab that in there, and I'm going to paint my greens on all of these. Do the same thing again. Let's make sure that I'm on camera here, you can see that. And I'm gonna paint my greens. A little bit more paint this time. And I'm just gonna do the same thing. Make sure I get all the little spots and crevices here. There we go. And this is just some green chalk paint. And I have a couple different shades of green just so that the other layers kind of pop. So I have like this mossy green too. There we are. Just grab a little bit more. There we are. I don't want to grab too much paint. I can always go back and add more if I need it. I just don't want to put too much on there. And I feel like this really saves me a lot of time. All right, so there's that one. Grab this one here. And I'm just gonna dab that right on. Okay. It just provides a really nice finish. All my little bits here falling out from my little pieces here that didn't all the way come out when I took it off the laser. There we go. Okay. This would be great for a shade, like blending and doing like ombre. These are perfect for that. I really like these. So you can do some nice blending. Be really good. Okay, so that's all there is for that one. Got goober there. And we have this one up here. I'm just gonna move these out of the way so I can move this over. All right. And I'm gonna grab this here. There we go. And there's a lot of different ways to make these ornaments. You can skip this layer if you want. It comes with a plain top layer. That's why these don't have the florals on them. So if you want to skip this layer, you can just do plain. Just a very plain letter. You can just skip it and just do a basic ornament with just the letter and then a circle over the top. And keep it really simple if you don't want to add all these florals. But I just love them. I like the florals. Okay. There we are. This one's all finished. I just like to get all the pieces, even though a lot of this is getting covered up. I just want to make sure, just in case when I go to put the other layers on, I get everything. So I'm just going to put that up there. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the other parts. I'm going to use a brush for the smaller pieces just because I want to make sure I have good control over it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint these little small pieces here. I'm going to grab some of this mossy green and I'm going to paint these little bits here. There we go. There. So I'm just going to keep all these together so I don't lose any of them. And then I'm going to grab these ones up here for the D. I'm just going to grab some more of this paint. Oops, put a little too much on there. There we go. Wipe some of that paint off. Got a little bit too much on there. There we are. Okay, and I'm gonna do this one maybe a little bit different. Maybe I'll blend some colors. What I'll do is I'll grab some of this color and a little bit of this darker green to make a new shade. Make a new color here if I can. There we are. And I'm just gonna, just so they're just a hair different. There we go. So they're not exactly the same shade of green. I like to make sure that they're slightly a different color. And while it's still wet, you can blend that. There we go. And they're just slightly a different shade. Okay. And now I have the berries, and I'm going to do those in a pretty shade of red. And I have, actually I'm gonna do this red. It's called Imperial, and that's Folk Art brand. I want that red to really pop. So I have my red. I'm gonna grab another brush. I'm gonna grab a tiny brush for this. There we go. And I'm just gonna grab some red for my berries. And I really like the Folk Art chalk paints. They're reasonable. If you're looking to try out some chalk paint, they're a nice brand to get started with. And you can get them at any of your local craft stores. And Hobby Lobby sells the little small bottles. I didn't see them at Michael's or Joann's, but maybe I could have just missed it, but I didn't see them there. But I did find these small bottles at Hobby Lobby. So if you want to give them a try, they're pretty reasonable. They're like $1.79 for a bottle. And they're pretty good. As you can see, they cover pretty well. I like chalk paint a little bit more than acrylic, just because I feel like you can get a lot of good coverage in one coat. So there's that. I'm gonna grab the next one. I got these little berries. And I definitely recommend cutting this with MDF, because there are intricate pieces, and MDF is stronger than some of the birches that I've used in the past. They tend to char and break really easily. And with how intricate these pieces are, I prefer to use MDF on this so they don't break. And I feel like MDF is a pretty good product, and it's inexpensive. There we are. There's some birches that have an MDF core that are pretty good that I've bought in the past too. All right, I'll just set that over there. And I have these little berries for this one. And I feel like I'm almost done at this point. I just have to paint the holly, and then I can do some assembly. It really, you save a lot of time using that True Flat. Save a lot of time, and it looks really nice. So I used score lines for the lines on the like the shiplap look. It also comes without the lines too, just in case you don't want to have the little shiplap look. My other ornaments that I did with the flourishes also come with the shiplap that I made a couple years ago. So there are options. You could do like scrapbook paper on the back layer. It's really up to you how you want to finish these. I just decided I wanted to do all of them in the shiplap. I thought it would look really pretty with that white. All right. I really wanted to go for like a really farmhouse look on these. Here we go. Okay, so the last thing I have to do is just paint the holly sprigs. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix those colors again like I did before. I'm just going to put this over here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my paints. So I want to get like a nice different shade. I want this to really pop. There we are. There we are. So I really want this to really pop when I put this on here. So I really want like an in-between color. So I'm gonna just blend some colors here. I'm gonna mix the dark green and the light green together to get a new shade, just like I did on the other one. Okay. And I think I'm actually gonna do some dry brushing on here, maybe, or actually I'll use my art crayon on the edges too. I can actually dry brush on all of this. It would look really nice. So that way they're all different shades. There we go. So it look really nice. All right, we'll do the same thing again over here. There we go. And it's really up to you how you want to do these. You can do them more of a brighter green, more of a darker green. It's really how you want. It's all about your style. Alrighty. I'm gonna let these dry for a second, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna try some different techniques. There we go. All right, everything is painted, and I think I'm gonna use my chalk, my art crayon. So this is my art crayon, and you can go along the edges, and you can create a nice like shadow effect on here. You can just put that right along the sides. And I will grab another one of those sponges. I really like these. Really fun. I'm having a hard time getting this open. There we go. I got a lot of these. A lot of these fun sponges. And you could use that for your blending too. So I'm just gonna kind of blend that. Because I usually use my fingers, but I can use my little sponge here to do that. And that looks pretty nice. There we go. And there's my J. And I can add more along the sides, top. And there we go. Okay. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing with my other letters while I'm waiting for my florals to dry. All right. And I'm gonna do that again here. And I'm gonna just kind of create a nice, do you need a tissue? Sorry, my friend is here and she's really sniffing a lot. So, sorry. There we go. And there's my D. I really like that. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same thing with my letter A and just kind of create a nice farmhouse look. Kind of distress it a little bit. My friend is here. I'm making this A for her. This is for her tree. And we'll just have to store them for a few months. It's only February, so we got a long way to go before Christmas. But we're getting a head start this year. There we are. So there's my letter A. And these are great for, look at how great this is to blend. These are really great for blending. And you don't get it all over your fingers too, which is nice. All right. So there's that. I really like this one here. This one's for my tree. All right. And if you wanted to, you can add, I'm gonna do a little bit on this one and add some of that on here because there's still some product left on my sponge, and I can just go ahead and just go along the edges to create a nice black outline around there without having to reapply over and over with that art crayon. You can see how nice that, it just kind of retains some of the product. There we go. Okay. These are pretty good. So there's my little holly sprig. Oops. And I think I might do the same thing again on here. Actually, I'm gonna just apply it right on to the sponge. There we go. And then I can just blend that right on there. And it actually works pretty well too. So that's another thing you can try out. There we are. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing again. Just add some of that on my sponge tip and then do that again over here. And it's just a fun way to distress. Okay. So if you don't want to always dry brush, try something like this. There we go. Just kind of blend it right into the edges here. And that's all you have to do. So there's that. All right, and then you just have to reline it up again. There we go. And I might even, I might take some white chalk paint and kind of like make it look like it has a little bit of snow on it. I'm gonna dry brush the bottom layer just to have a little bit of a little pop, make it look a little snowy. So I'm gonna just take my white chalk paint and just kind of tap off the excess. I'm gonna put my cap on this. And I'm just move this out of the way and just kind of go across it so it looks like it has a little bit of snow on it, like it's a little icy. Especially these pine needles. Definitely very snowy here today. Very snowy. And I'm just running it right across the top. And then that's really gonna pop. So that looks really fun. And then we have this piece here that's going to butt right up against there. So you can see those different layers. Okay. So that's all for that one. And then we have our little berries that are gonna go right on top. And that's it for that one. And then we have our snowflake. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna dry brush on this and just kind of add a little bit of snow. Oh, I'm gonna grab a little bit more paint from the bottle. Always tap off. There we go. I'm gonna just go right across there and make it look like it's snowy. There we go. Okay, just go right across. And there's this one here. And I got my little berries. This one just fits right on there. And then this one fits right up against here like that. All right, that's all there is for that one. And then I'm gonna grab this one here for my letter D. I'm gonna grab a little bit more white Make sure I tap off. I'm gonna move this out of the way. And I'm just gonna come over here and just do a little bit of that little bit of like icy snow. Here we are. Okay, and just some fun chalk painting, like dry brush style with the chalk paints. And that's all there is to that. And I'm gonna go over here and grab these. There's our piece here, and it just lines up. You just gotta line up the holly sprig. And then you take this piece and this piece, and you're gonna line it up here. And then you're gonna grab this piece here. You're gonna line it up right there. There we go. And if you wanted to, you could also like put a little around the edges there to make it pop a little bit more if you wanted to. And then you have your little berries. And they just line right up too. Just make sure I got everything lined up. And there we are. So now I'm gonna go over here and grab the other pieces that I took away from the beginning. All right. So I have my letter D. Set it right on top. And I have this layer here. And I'm gonna grab my letter D. Flip it around. There we are. After I glue it all together. So I'm going to just line it all up. There we are. And if you wanted to, you can paint the little berries individually that are on there, but I'm going to leave them, I think. Just going to leave those be. So there's my letter D. Make sure I get all those lined up perfectly. And then I have my snowflake that goes right on top. So that's it for the letter D. And I think that one came out really good. So I just have to make sure that I get that lined up perfectly when I go to glue it. I'm really happy with how that came out. That one came out really pretty. And then I'm gonna do the same thing for my letter J. So I'm gonna put this right on top. I'm going to line that up here, grab my florals, there we are, line those up, there we go, and then I'm going to take my little snowflake and put it right on top, and there's my letter J. So gotta make sure I line those all up perfectly. So I'm gonna just scoot that off to the side, and I'm gonna come over here and grab my letter A. And put that on there. Line it up. This one goes on top. I just gotta move this over some more so I don't have them touch. There we are. There's my A. I really love this true flat. This white is amazing. And I did get a good deal on it on the shop app on MakerFlow. That's where I picked it up from. It's normally $210 regular price, but they had a deal. You could use your shop cash, $5 if you use $5 of your shop cash. If you use that app, they give you $40 off your purchase. So it was only $170 for a 50 pack. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. All right, and then I put my little snowflake on there. And that's all there is to making these. They're pretty easy to make. I really enjoy it. And you could also engrave like somebody's name over here. You could put like Anderson or Andrea or something, like a first name or a last name. You could put like 2025 on here. I could put like Johnson over here. It's really however you want to do it. So you can personalize them however way you like. So I'm really excited. I love these. I'm obsessed. So I hope you like them, and thanks for joining me. And I hope that you get to try out some of this really amazing True Flat. It's they have a lot of different kinds too. They don't just have the white, they have black too, and they have all different kinds of wood. So if you give it a try, let me know. Shoot me a comment and tell me how much you like it. And I think it's pretty easy to use. It cuts really smooth, cuts just like MDF. I use the same setting as my MDF, and it cut like butter. I love it. It's just an amazing product, and it saved me so much time not having to paint all of that white. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.